Hi guys. Today I will tell you a movie called Uninvited Guests to Anna. For 30 years she has been suffering from severe anxiety disorder, which largely affects her life. The only person she relies on is her older brother Conrad, who is dying of pancreatic cancer. They have no one else besides each other, so Conrad is worried about his sister. Moreover, brother and sister hide secrets in different corners of the house and are always afraid to let anyone inside. One night Anna is playing with an old key in her room. Suddenly she hears a strange noise coming from the darkness, but it turns out to be Conrad sitting outside. He calls her to join him, but Anna rudely refuses. The fact is that she has not left the house for more than 10 years because of her anxiety disorder. The next morning, Conrad's lawyer Charlotte joins them. She was called to discuss the will and what I will get after his death, but I'm not ready for this conversation yet. Then we are introduced to Dan, the courier who brings food for the family every morning, except for Conrad. Dan is the only person Anna likes to communicate with. He is kind, and he won her heart for the time that he works for them. While they are talking, a loud knock is heard from Conrad's room. Anna rushes to her brother and puts him back on the bed. They spend the whole day together talking about different things. Conrad brings up the topic of their father and asks Anna to forgive him, but this only angers her. After a few hours Anna will have an alarm call. She runs to Conrad's room and finds him dead despite the fact that she knew it was supposed to. Nothing in the world could have prepared Anna for the death of her brother. After the doctors take his body, she cleans the whole house and gets rid of all his medications. When Anna is in the most difficult situation, Dan comes to her aid and distracts her with conversations. He offers her to sell the house and move to another place, but Anna is too attached to the house to leave it. While they chat, Dan says that he wants to leave this city but does not have the financial means for this. Anna abruptly leaves and returns a few minutes later with a bag full of money. She wants him to take them and arrange a better life for himself. Dan, however, refuses to accept them, although Anna insists that she has more money than she needs. The next day comes the funeral. Anna is getting ready, but at the last moment her anxiety takes over. She desperately wants to say goodbye to her brother, but in the end she stays at home immersed in her thoughts. Suddenly, a car stops near the house and 3 men come out. They look through the window to make sure that no one is at home and are going to rob him. Anna panics, but before she has time for someone call one of the guys named JP breaks down the back door, does not let the other two. JP seems to be the leader and his brother Vance and friend Perry as accomplices. Robbers think that Anna is at the funeral, but the kettle is noisy and they realize that she is in the house. The woman quickly runs upstairs and the guys start looking for her all over the house. Perry finds her hiding in the bathroom, which makes her run downstairs before he catches up with her. Anna runs to the front door. She can easily run outside and save her life, but freezes with excitement. JP gently closes the door and asks her why she didn't run away. She also had the opportunity to call the police when she was hiding upstairs, but she didn't do it. The robbers think it's strange, but all they care about is the money that she hides somewhere in the house of JP and his brother. Vance continues to look for money and Perry watches Anna. She tells him about her disorder and that she has not left the house for more than 10 years. Perry is surprised and it's to check whether she is telling the truth or lying. He forcibly pulls her out into the street, causing her to lose consciousness. When JP picks her up to help and she pisses Vance, she asks to take her to her room and put her in order while the other two are looking for a bag of money. In the end they find a basement with 2 doors without handles. The doors undoubtedly lead somewhere, but it is impossible to open them. Obviously, either Conrad or Anna wanted to keep these rooms a secret. Meanwhile, Vance is still trying to get Anna to change clothes. He is the weakest link among all 3 and does not want to hurt someone for money. Anna also notices this and tries to convince him to help her to some extent. She manages to convince him, but in the end, he understands what she is doing. In a fit of anger, he forcibly tries to force her to change clothes, but Dan stops him. He was at Conrad's funeral and came to check on Anna because there was no. Anna thinks she finally has someone who can help her until Dan calls Vance by name, showing that they are friends. Anna understands that Dan is also with robbers and loses her mind. She runs down and hides somewhere away from them. JP gets to Dan and knocks him out, showing that he is not really part of their group. After a few minutes of searching for Anna, Perry loses patience and threatens to kill her pet bird if she doesn't show up. Anna continues to hide and Perry beats the poor bird to death. By this time Dan has already regained consciousness, but JP ties his hands and pushes him onto the sofa. While the robbers deal with him, Anna runs to the bathroom, but Vance makes a noise, about to grab her, but Anna stabs him in the neck, killing him on the spot. The other two are still with Dan, but a strange silence makes them assume that something is wrong. They ask Vance to say something, but hearing the noise with which Anna drags his body into the basement, soon they discover bloodstains on the floor and following them find the corpse of Vance. JP hugs his brother and cries, promising to avenge his death. For the surviving duo, this task turns into something more than just a robbery. At this moment, Perry notices Anna outside the door, but she locks her before he has time to enter. After that, she runs to her room and takes out the key she played with at the beginning of the movie. The key is used to open the lever by pulling on it. The stairs to the basement move, leaving Perry and JP inside. Anna checks them to make sure they can't get out. Some time passes and the robbers try to break down the doors in the basement to get out, but they are made so that they withstand any force from outside. Dan says that he is friends with Vance, and yesterday I told him about the money. He feels terrible because he didn't know. Anna still refuses to untie his hands and asks him about Conrad's funeral. He tells her how everything went and asks what Conrad did in a similar situation. Anna thinks about it for a while, then breaks his finger and leads him to the basement door. Because there is no ladder, he stands on the edge. Anna asks him to prove his innocence by jumping into the basement, and when he refuses, she pushes him herself. Damn it, but Anna is tough. Dan cries in pain, holding onto a dislocated knee. Then Anna goes into a secret closet in which a video of the basement is shown. After a while, she comes to check on them, and JP tortures Dan in the hope that she will feel sympathy for him. Anna tells them to use a first aid kit that is located in one of two locked rooms without door handles. JP manages to open one of the doors because Anna changed the settings upstairs. However, as soon as he entered the room, she presses the button and he finds himself locked inside. JP finds it extremely strange because the room looks identical to the one he saw upstairs. Meanwhile, Perry tries to break down the second door, and after many attempts succeeds. He finds the freezer, opens it and sees dead bodies inside. Shocked to the depths of Perry's soul, he runs outside and comes face to face with Anna. Now that he has seen what he shouldn't have seen, she can't leave him alive. Anna hits him on the head with a hammer. He is going to strangle her, but loses too much blood and dies a little later. Dan manages to get into the second room. He sees the corpses and realizes that something is very wrong. At the same time, Charlotte comes to check on Anna because she does not answer the calls. Anna pretends that everything is fine and comes up with an excuse for the noise coming from the basement. Charlotte does not attach any importance to this, does not fit. After making sure that everything is fine with Anna after she leaves, Anna goes to the basement and finds Dan at the freezer. She puts him in a closet that leads him to the room where JP is locked. In the room there is the one-way mirror she uses to keep an eye on them. JP guesses this and tries to break it, but Anna informs him that the glass is bulletproof. Then she makes him put on a shirt from the closet. It turns out that Conrad and Anna drugged the men and locked them in this room. Then Conrad joined the victims through the closet and tortured them while Anna watched them through the mirror. JP asks why they reproduced the room and whose shirt he was wearing. Then it turns out that Anna's father sexually abused her as a child once. Conrad strangled his father and became her hero. Since then they lure rapists into the house and kill them. Anna believes that they did the right thing only because the criminals deserved punishment, but according to JP, Both she and her brother are psychopaths. They got high from killing their own father and wanted to relive this moment. Over and over again Anna loses her mind from the accusations and gives Dan a gun to kill J.P. She wants him to pay for his actions, and he thinks that he is helping him with this. J.P. pushes Dan aside and takes a gun. He is preparing to kill Dan, but Anna stops him, prompting him to commit suicide. She blames him for his brother's death and declares that death is the only way to save him. At first, J.P. seems to yield to her demands, but after coming to his senses again, points the gun at Dan. A few seconds before the shot, Anna opens the door and lets them out. J.P. helps Dan out of the house, but he is not ready to run yet. He looks at the dead body of the Crown, seized with rage and a desire for revenge. Dan tries to convince him to leave it as it is, but instead, after getting punched in the face, J.P. returns to the house and starts pouring gasoline all over everything. Anna brings him a box of money, hoping to send him away with them, but he refuses to take them and attacks her. During the struggle, Anna manages to escape upstairs, but J.P. catches her and declares that he has an idea. He wants her to relive the bad memories she had with her father by attacking her. The fact that on her father's German shirt makes the situation even worse for Anna. At this moment, Dan and Anna enter the room, taking advantage of a distraction. Dan shoots at J.P. and Anna looks at the dead body and silence reigns. They go downstairs and Dan leaves without saying a word. Anna remains sitting in the living room for about an hour before deciding to leave the house. Finally, she has left her fear and can exist outside the house. The final scene, she sets fire to the house and leaves. The movie ends. Subscribe. All bye.